was simple. We'd leave Uxbridge in the morning, heading north towards Rosseau, taking Highway 12 and then 11. Once we got to Rosseau, we'd jump on the Nipissing Colonization Road, or Nipissing Ghost Road, and head north to Lake Nipissing, making a few stops at some of the ghost towns along the way. Of course, it's never that easy. The current roads don't follow the Nipissing Road exactly, so we'd be taking a combination of paved roads, gravel roads, and trails, and probably hitting more than a few dead ends, trying to follow it as closely as we could. By the time we got to Rosseau, we were cold as the temperature was only a few degrees above 0 Celsius that day, but we were excited to get started on the Nipissing Road at the former town of Ashtown. We'd have a short gravel road ride before taking our first trail, which was likely to be unpassable, but we thought we'd take it as far as we'd go before looping around and coming back down the top. We finally came to an impassable swamp about 20 minutes into the trail and had to turn around, and that's when our trouble started. After dropping my bike in the puddle, and more than a few swear words, and some very wet feet, we were on our way again. We weren't cold, but we were wet, and we were worried as the temperature still hadn't gotten very warm. We were still only a few degrees above 0. We weren't sure if we'd be able to complete the ride or not, but for now we were both okay and we'd continue on. We headed south back down the trail to the main road, and we were going to loop around through the town of Warville, catching the 518, and then meeting up with the Nipissing Road. Once we met up with the Nipissing Road, we'd come south towards the swamp that we couldn't pass, as far as we could, and then we'd head back north towards the town of Magnanelon. Just north of Orville, we'd run into our next problem. Our GPSs calculated our route differently than we had originally planned, and instead of taking the 518 up to meet up with the Nipissing Road, it wanted us to turn right onto this gravel road. We stopped and discussed it and decided to give it a try, as it was only 10 kilometers and would bring us out to the Ghost Road as well. As we progressed on the road, we found out it wasn't in fact a road, but the Seguin Recreational Park-to-Park Trail, which followed the old Booth Railroad from Perry Sound to Seguin Falls. So we were headed in the right direction, but it was a bit unexpected and offered some challenging terrain for us, including more water crossings and a couple of steep rocky hills. After several kilometers on the trail, we came to 2 long water crossings. Although they weren't exceptionally deep, they were very long and very rocky. Matt's V-strum kept getting hung up on his center stand, and we required more than one push. We both got wet, but eventually made it through. And we were starting to lose time, and the temperature was going to be dropping soon, so we were going to have to make a decision about the ride. We did decide that at the first opportunity we would get off the Seguin Trail and back onto some more solid and dry roads. At the first road, we exited the Seguin Trail and headed towards the 518. Little did we know it was only a couple more kilometers on the trail to get to Seguin Falls and the Nipissing Ghost Road again, and we would have got to cross the Seguin River and see what was left of the old train bridge there. Once we got to the Nipissing Road again, we decided to go south on it, back towards the impassable swamp, just to see how far we could get. And then the original plan was to go back north from there and head towards Magnetawan and then on to Lake Nipissing. Unfortunately, just south of Seguin Falls, we came to more water crossings. We were wet, tired, and cold, and decided it was a good time to turn around. We figured the best thing to do was head back to the 518 and go over to Huntsville on Highway 11 to have some food and get warm before we headed back to Uxbridge. About a 2-hour ride. So Matt emptied his boots and we got turned around. And so we decided that we'd return to the Nipissing Ghost Road another day, a drier day perhaps. It's kind of ironic that this road that was so difficult to travel back when it was created had been just as difficult for us today. Thanks for watching.